Hello and welcome to another. I took myself off. I meant to take that one off. Hello, Lens Legends, and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show, where we focus on the business side of photography, the real business challenges that professional photographers face every single day. I'm your host, Jim Landers, your guide on the business side, and it's my mission to uplift portrait photographers to make a great income doing what they love. If you're new here, let me tell you a little bit about what this is about. This is where we cut through the noise and get straight to it. Actually helps you build a sustainable, profitable photography business. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. The show's for photographers who feel they've got something to learn on the business side. So if that's you, well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. For Digital Pro Lab, put this up differently. There we go. For Digital Pro Lab and Amanda and her amazing team, they love this stuff. And by default, that makes you look like a hero. It makes things look, it feels so much easier when you're working with a lab. If you haven't tried Digital Pro Lab, you're missing out. If you don't regularly print, you are missing out. Try it if you haven't done it before. The way it feels is something you'll never stop wanting to feel. And Digital Pro Lab makes it easy because Amanda hires the right people who work there, people who are career people who love this stuff. Go to digitalprolab.com and you're going to see a difference. And also sponsored by Landers Photography School. Well, that's me. And I teach both the photography side and the business side. On the photography side, we've got a lot of classes, both group and private classes. And on the business side, have even more classes. And most of them are going to be private because, well, it's just the nature of business. We have things that we're doing, and they are kind of going in our own direction. So it needs to be specialized. It needs to be private for you. So reach out to me, jim@landersphotoSchool.com, or you know what, even better, take advantage of my free uh, uh, business assessment consultation. We'll just talk about you, talk about your business, talk about your direction, the path that you're going to want to take. So go to that URL you see right there. That's calendly.com/photoschool/15MIN. Do a screenshot. I'm taking it off the screen real quick. All right. I want to encourage you to make comments and ask questions throughout this interview today. And right now, I want you to go to the comment section and enter in hashtag live, letting me know that you're watching live right now. We are simulcast to several different places. Like we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube. So if you're watching live right now, enter in hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, please enter in hashtag replay. Now, before I start talking about our wonderful guest today, I want to request that you share the Portrait Profit Show. That is how people find out about it, because you are sharing. You are clicking that share button. You are allowing other people to know that this exists. We do this for free. Amanda and I, what we do here, we don't charge for, we don't charge a dime. All the time and effort that we put into it comes out of our own pockets, comes out of our own time that we could have been spending doing something else. And so there's no budget for us to put out a bunch of ads for this. We rely on you to do that for us. So hit the share button. Let other people know that this show exists. Today, we're talking about one of the most exciting milestones a photographer can hit. opening their first office. If you've ever dreamed of having a space that's truly yours, a place to create, a place to serve, a place to grow your brand, then today's story, well, it's gonna hit home. Our guest, Brianna Salinas, started her photography journey during one of the most uncertain times in recent history, and you know what that is. And what she's built since then is nothing short of inspiring. From launching her business as Three Little Birds Photography to rebranding as Brianna Salinas Photography, and now stepping into her very own place. Brianna's journey is a masterclass in following your purpose and turning passion into momentum. Today, we'll hear how she made the leap, the lessons she's learned, and what it really takes to move from photographing only on location to opening the doors to a dream studio. Brianna's story isn't just inspiring, it's with practical wisdom for anyone building a photography business they love. Let's welcome Brianna Salinas to the Portrait Profit Show. I'll bring her on right now. Hi, Brianna.
Hi.
I'm so excited that you're here.
It's an honor to be here. Honestly, I'm really excited that I'm able to share my story with other photographers. It's going to be a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
I believe it. In fact, I know it. Well, before we get into your photography journey, I'd
Mhm.
love for our audience to know a little bit more about you, your family, where you grew up, the experiences that led you to where you are today.
Well, I'm Brianna Salinas. I have an awesome husband. He is my rock. He's literally one of the biggest inspirations for this, all becoming what it is today. I have two beautiful children. I was blessed with a daughter and a son, Marley and Jackson. Um, and I was raised in San Antonio. We're actually south of San Antonio, Somerset, Texas. That's where I opened up my studio. I moved around a little bit, but overall came back to this area and graduated here. After that, I went to further my education at Texas A&M University in Corpus, and I received a bachelor's degree there in health science. I was pursuing the medical field, so that'll be part of the experiences that we'll get into. Um, yeah, the experiences that have led me here. I mean, I'm gonna get so deep into this, and some of it might even seem like it's a little off topic, but trust me, it all comes together. Um, my experiences, I actually didn't go to school for photography. It wasn't something that I was pursuing. I was really just kind of something that I saw people do, and it was more of a little fantasy than anything. Um, but art had always been a part of my life, in and out of basically in phases as a kid growing up. When it started with just on little simple things, coloring and doing that thing, most kids do that. But getting into high school, I took an art class and I loved it. The idea of creating something, we would mess with clay and do carving projects and things like that. And it was really awesome to be able to create something that wasn't theirs, just something out of nothing, being able to leave something behind. I then went into college and I took a pottery class. For some reason, just art kind of kept coming into my life. When it came to photography, I was a part of a couple of events where I was a part of like a boxing match, but I wasn't fighting. I was a ring girl, and I got to do some photo shoots with that opportunity. But I always was curious about the people on the other side of the lens. Then I met my husband. I didn't meet him in college, but I did meet him in Corpus. We got married over there, and it was really a blessing to meet my wedding photographer. Her name's Heather Roberts. She was really awesome. She captured beautiful images, but she also helped to inspire me to just kind of see, okay, like people do this. This is really cool. As I got older, I realized I needed a career, so I pursued the medical field. My grandmother was the inspiration for that. But I noticed that I wanted to serve people. I wanted to help people. So that was a big thing at that moment. But I think for me, a part of me would always scroll Instagram. I would look at photography videos and just kind of one of those things where I always kind of wanted to, it was more of a dream. It was just like I would daydream about it. But yeah, it was more of that. I want to get more into it, but I feel like it's going to also be saved for some of the questions that are coming up. But that's kind of where I'm trying to be careful on how much I don't want to repeat myself.
Of course, I appreciate that, and I know Heather Roberts. She was we've talked on a handful of occasions, maybe several times, and she was going to be starting our coaching program. I don't think we actually started it. It maybe we still will be, but yeah, I definitely know her, and she's fantastic. I'm glad you worked with her. I didn't know that. That's
Oh,
cool.
can you?
So, mhm. So when did you when did photography really first become something meaningful to you? What was that moment? What can you describe that to us?
The moment that it became very meaningful to me was when I realized I really wanted to work. So going back to the medical field, during that time, I didn't know what I wanted. I know I wanted to pursue nursing, but there was a lot of challenges in that part. And whenever I decided I was going to go to school for nursing, I got into Galen University. I was really excited. I then realized I couldn't afford it. It was really expensive. Financial aid was only able to help me with so much. So with that experience, it kind of put a backfall on that plan. But during that time, I had gotten the acceptance letter to get into school. And whenever that happened, I took a very big jump and I didn't realize what I was doing. But me and my husband made the decision for me just to be a stay-at-home mom and then to go to school full time. Well, after all the incident with Galen, I then decided to take a break because I love being a part of the medical field, but it can take a toll on you sometimes. So I decided just to take a small break and to see exactly what I wanted to do. During that time, I realized that going from working in that kind of a field and going to being a stay-at-home mom was a whole different thing mentally for me. Other photographers or people that are just trying to build something, it's hard when you got a lot of really heavy stuff going on and a lot of changes. But for me, it was changes that I didn't realize. It was planting the seed of something greater, and I didn't realize that at the moment. But with those challenges, I my husband started to notice that I wasn't myself a lot. I was just kind of depressed, honestly. I was so used to the constant adult interaction. I was used to working at fast-paced environments. It was just a whole new world for me. So he's like, you need a hobby. You need to pick something. You need to do something. Keep yourself busy. So I picked up my camera that I had bought in 2018. I went to Colorado. It was a trip I'll never forget. I bought a Canon T3i Rebel for $250 and I picked it up and I haven't put it down since. And I don't regret that at all. It was the best decision. But I think the moment that I really wanted to make it change was I loved working and I loved working with people. I loved serving people, but also I loved being with my daughter and my family more. So I wanted to help and also help my family. My husband, he was the main person that was taking care of all of us. So it was I wanted to help, and I knew a second income would help our family tremendously. When COVID hit, it brought opportunities to get creative. There was a lot of more stay-at-home jobs. There was a lot more opportunities like that. But it's just something I really wasn't happy with. Overall, I was like, just I don't see myself doing this. So that's where it came from for just picking up that camera. And COVID was really one of the things that helped with that because everything just, I had not had nothing else to do but to really just think and think about what I wanted to do with my life at that moment and how I wanted to change things. So that's kind of where it started.
You kind of mentioned this already, but I'm wondering if there's more. What was the moment or series of moments when you realized you wanted to turn photography into a career? not just something you enjoy, not just something that brought you some peace, but making it an income producer.
Yeah. It was the moment that I had a cousin. She reached out to me, and her sister-in-law was having a baby. She wanted to take maternity photos, and I gladly accepted. I was really excited, but also I was super new at this. Again, I didn't go to school for this. My main go-to at that moment was YouTube, was learning from other photographers and Instagram and just kind of learning what I can learn from them. But it was the first time I did that photo shoot, and that client handed me $30. That's the first payment that I got from a photo shoot. And I sat in my car for about 15 minutes, and I just sat there looking at that $30, and I wondered to myself, how can I make this into something more? And that's kind of where everything just, I knew I wanted to make a change with that, and I knew I wanted to fly with that. So it was mostly that client.
Yeah, I love stories like that. You shared that one with me, so I appreciate that. Um, Guys, viewers that are watching, I call them lens legends. So lens
Mhm.
legends, take a moment to click that like button or go to the comments and share your thoughts or ask Brianna a question. And if you haven't already, enter in hashtag live, letting us know that you're watching live right now. So during our conversations, Brianna, you mentioned to me that your business started with the name Three Little Birds Photography. Can you share with us the meaning behind that original name and what eventually led you to rebrand under your own name?
Three Little Birds photography means a lot to me. So it all started with me wanting to name something for this photography business. And then I tried to go through what the meaning of it was and why I wanted to create this and what I wanted this to be. And for me, it was my family. At the time, it was me, my husband, and my daughter. Also, Three Little Birds is a song that's written by the most awesome reggae artist, is Bob Marley. Um, his music got me through so much of my hard times. His music really inspired me. It kept me humble through some of my rockiest moments. So I knew that just fit. It was perfect for that moment. Also, I didn't really know exactly how I wanted to put myself out there, but at that moment, it was perfect. Three Little Birds photography represented my family. And it also represented the song and everything in that. I knew that it was perfect. And actually, my daughter's name is Marley.
You have two cute kids, and one of them had a
Thanks.
birthday just a couple of days ago.
Yes, it was awesome. We got rained on, but they stayed on the water slide and they took advantage of that rainfall. So it was perfect.
Nice. Well, I had the privilege of being able to come out and see your new office. In fact, I'll share with our lens legends that photograph uh, was it Franco that did that for us?
Yes, yes.
So that image that Franco did for us. In fact, if that's maybe make it a little bit closer so you guys can see it a little bit better, see us a little bit better. But let's talk about your biggest milestone so far, which is opening that office that I got to see just a few days ago. What made you feel like the time was right to take that step?
I knew the time was right whenever I started booking more clients. Um, so I know we'll get to this later on the challenges that I faced. So I'll wait for that part. But for the right time, I really wanted, since I do work from home, I also homeschool my children. So there was a lot. I wanted to separate work from home and being able to have a place to showcase my work. My clients, I knew that I really wanted to focus on in-person sales, hearing from my mentors and hearing from other photographers that it's not only just about photography. working with your clients, I mean, it depends on the kind of photography you want to be, the type of photographer that you want to be. For me and my business, I like my clients to feel, I wanted to create a place and design a place that would make them feel comfortable, that would make them feel inspired when they would walk in on the things that we can create together. And I really wanted them to feel valued. That was my main thing. I wanted them to have an overall amazing experience. That's why they pay what they pay, and it makes a big difference whenever you can showcase your work and have a place to separate home and work. And also, I know I was the photographer also carrying prints, and I wish I could carry more to a Starbucks, or you're having to meet at certain places. When I was opening up this studio, people thought that it was a place where we can shoot. At that, we're not there yet. Right now, it's more of my office where I can show and dedicate to my clients and show them what we can create.
And it's perfect for that. So, how has having that space changed the way you serve your clients?
Oh, it's changed so much. Having a place where where creativity lives, and we're also where they can see where they come in, they're able to sit down. I offer refreshments. They're able to feel comfortable. We review their photos on a TV, on a big TV, so they can see their gallery. I wanted my clients to know that their photos matter to me. Their gallery matters to me. If there's something that I missed, I want to see that with them. There was a lot of times where I would send a gallery and I'm like, oh, I wonder if they liked it. But we all get busy and not all the time that we can, respond right away. But I wanted to be there for those moments and to show them that, a lot of times our photos they end up on screensavers. They end up, on our computers. And then that's as far as they usually go. But to be able to create art that can go on your walls and you can see and enjoy every single day, that also makes a difference. For me as well, it all goes back to when I started as a kid. It was art has always been an out of my life in pieces. But one thing I loved about it was being able but also to be able to leave something behind. So these photos that we leave behind, for me, it's not just going and capturing a wedding or a quince, or even just capturing a maternity. The session behind me is a maternity shoot. Um, it's something more. You're leaving something behind that is going to be cherished not only by that couple or by that family, they're going to be cherished by many generations. That is a maternity shoot. She's going to have a child. That child's going to grow up. That child, we're all going to get older. So to be able to pass these photos on and to show the art that was created and to know that you did that, I think that's probably one of the biggest blessings to be able to share.
Definitely is. You know, when I first opened an office, it wasn't, I think I went about it in a different way than most, because I was out of the house like most people start. But then I merged with another photographer who was intending to go out of to leave the business to retire. And he was at that time 65, and he was ready to stop. Although he loved doing photography, but I moved in with him at his office, and I definitely saw a big change in how I worked. Some things were better, some things weren't, but for the most part, everything was better. It definitely made a difference in having a place for people to come to me. How do you feel about those changes, and how do you perceive your clients, how they feel about having a place to come visit you?
I have felt a huge difference, mostly just from the way that we can interact with each other. We're able to sit down and get, with a wedding, it's not just like, okay, well, here's the packages, it's more of, again, I'm providing a service. So I want them to know that I care. I want them to know that their one day that's, it's not like we can go and be like, hey, can you replay that? Can you go and do this? There's only so much you can do on that part, but those moments, they matter to you, and that you're willing to take the time to be able to provide a place that's comfortable for them to come over here to see their photos and to show basically what can be created out of those photos, whether it's albums, whether it's acrylic blocks, I mean, whatever you decide to sell. It does make, for me, it made a big difference. I think it also helped me to see myself in a different way, if that makes any sense. When
Sure.
I show up to my studio, I feel I feel excited every time I open up that door. I'm so very blessed, overall blessed with all the clients. You know, what I do now, I realized, you know, the people that have reached out to me, there are, again, they're mothers, they're couples, and then I'm taking their kids' photos, and it goes on from there. And to be able to be a part of families that way, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And then to bring them into your own place and to show them your work. There's a lot of times where, you know, a lot of places are limited on what you can bring. I know Starbucks in particular, they used to allow photographers to do that. Now they don't. So there's a lot of challenges. So being able to have the space can help you a lot.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So, oh, Lens Legends, before we move on, Lens Legends, if you haven't already, go to the comment section and enter in hashtag live, letting us know that you're watching us live. And make sure to hit that like button or that love button every time you hear something you like or love. We, you know what? Go one step further on that comment section. Tell Brianna thank you for giving her time and attention and loving you guys enough to sacrifice something else, because we all have things that we need to do, but she's here uplifting you guys. So let her know that you appreciate that in the comments. So I, I had a question before I said all that. Right, lost that train of thought. Oh, when I arrived at your studio, you greeted me outside and walked me back to your space. Is that the normal way that you greet people when they come in, or what's that normal procedure when you know someone's coming to visit you? How do you do that? What's your procedure?
Right now, yes. I'm where my studio is located. I was able to get a spot that was inside of a barber shop. So it is a little hidden, but it's one of those beautiful like those hole in the wall, like little hidden places that you can be like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this was here. Didn't even know this was here. But I am a little hidden. I'm right at an intersection, right at Somerset Road. And so I usually go out there and I'll greet my clients and have them come back because they have to walk through another business owner space. So I usually like them to feel comfortable to guide them. And then I also like to see their reaction when they walk in and see the prints on the walls as they're walking in. So that's really nice.
I thought it was nice. I mean,
I think I gave
it,
you an awesome dance because you were lost. I was like, I'm right here. So
I
I'm
felt
not shy.
welcomed when I arrived, so I was thinking, "Is this the norm? Is this what she does for everybody?"
Oh
You know, that's cool. I love that.
yeah.
So I've got a question for you. Looking back, everybody has challenges. Everybody's got difficulties. None of us get away with not having some things that really knock us off our feet, and we're lucky to get back up. But what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced while um, moving in this direction, while planning for having an office? The things that happened as you were opening. I mean, you have to decorate the space or paint, or there's things you have to do to prepare. And what do you do? What do you know now that you wish you had known before?
I thought about that question a lot, and it was very easy for me to say, don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid because some of the most successful entrepreneurs have failed many times before. I mean, how are they able to get better? How are they able to? The thing is you have to use that and also intimidation. You have to use that as fuel for motivation. There's a lot of times in my challenges because this wasn't a first career for me. Many people that know me know that I was just pursuing the medical field. That's what I loved. That's what I did. So when everything happened and everything changed and I was making cards for I'm Brianna Salinas or I'm Three Little Birds Photography and I'm I want to be seen now. I'm this. And the challenges were really to not use those moments where people are negative. People will say things. Um, one of the biggest challenges I had to face was getting out of my comfort zone. One of the experiences I had that really also changed on what I was like, I want to do this. This is something I want to do. Was I was a part of a wedding. It was one of my good friends. She's amazing. We went to a bridal show. We went to one of the bridal extravaganzas here in San Antonio. And I walked in and I saw all of these people and it just lit up my face. I was like, oh my gosh, all these photographers, videographers being themselves, doing their thing, interacting with people, a lot of people. They were just having so much fun. I remember that was a part of my one of my challenges where I knew I had to get out of my comfort zone, even though I had no idea what I was doing. So with that, I actually went and I asked for the person that was in charge. I was like, "Is there who's in charge here?" They got a hold of Natalie. She was amazing. And she gave me all the information I needed to be a part of the next year's show. And I would go and talk to the people who have and host the bridal shows. Um, One of the biggest challenges also is don't be afraid to take risks because I kind of jumped in not realizing what in the beginning I was doing. I had a very small album. This was my first album. It was just to show my work. Again, I'm walking in and all these photographers have so many setups. I mean, they have prints and albums and things that I just couldn't do at the time. Financially, I couldn't do it, but I got what I could do. And with that, I was just myself. And it was probably one of the best experiences that I had, also because I met a person that we just kind of stumbled upon each other. His name's Joshua. He's from Limelight. When I say that, don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. I don't know why I had a really great feeling when I met him, just as I got an amazing feeling when I reached out to Jim Landers a long time ago when I had no idea what I was doing. But I am very thankful that I did meet these people because these people were a part of the photography community. Also, he has a wife. Her name is Marisol. She's a beautiful person. Love her so much. But I saw what they created together. They are husband and wife he created a business and he's a thriving business. And I knew as I was creating my business, I wanted to stay home with my family. I wanted goals, and I still wanted to be able to live off of photography. A lot of I've learned that photography, it's not just about taking photos. It's hard to live off of photography if you don't know how to do the sales part, the marketing part, which is something I'm still learning. I'm still learning to this day. I am very happy with the people that have helped me to understand that it's a lot much more than just taking photos. You need to learn the marketing, you need to learn the sales because you're that one person that's doing everything, the editing and everything. So taking risks. I know I spoke to Jim Landers about this, and I'll share with you guys, is whenever I wanted to do the bridal show, my husband and I, we were really excited, but when we got the phone call for the deposit, it was about $200 for the deposit to save your table. And I was like, okay, well, my husband and I were going through a really rough time at that moment. It was just financially, it was really rough. Um, and we realized that we had $208 in our account. And we sat there and we talked and we prayed and we realized, okay, what do we want to do? Because I knew what I wanted to do, but that's the most amazing thing about having a good support system, because my husband knew my dream and he was like, we're going to do it. So there's a risk. It's scary because you don't know what the outcome is. We had two little children that depended on us, and making this kind of a jump was very big for us. So we did it. We just said it's in God's hands. And I'm very blessed and very happy that it all was amazing to see that we now have over 18 weddings in our book. We have that doesn't even include our portraits, graduation sessions that we've done. I also work with the Texas Grappling Academy. So again, another challenge that I also had to learn was comparison. Don't compare yourself. Comparing yourself to other photographers is probably one of the hardest things that I had to learn because it's hard not to compare yourself to other photographers, especially ones that have just been doing this for a long time or have a lot more experience. But comparison's the killer of joy. And the one other thing is creating a network with amazing photographers that are going to help you and help build. They're more the people that are they love community, not competition. So those are the kind of people that you're going to want to be around because I've had people, at the bridal show and other photographers where they're just like, "What are you doing here?" Or like, "Oh, you just have this." And don't compare yourself to what they have because you worked really hard for something so tiny. I'm very happy that I had this there because this was really basically all I had and a banner, but it was great. My first bridal show, I didn't do great. I walked out with one for the whole year, one wedding. But in that meantime, when I met Joshua and Marisol, I also invested in myself. And I wanted to learn from more photographers and more people. And that's where I ended up taking more workshops, learning the business side, learning a lot more things that I really didn't know before. And it's things that we all have heard, like, let's do marketing. We've all heard that. Let's do in-person sales. Let's do this. But to actually apply it and to actually do it is one thing. So really just using that community and using that support can help you so much. I'm trying to think of of any I can keep going and going and going.
Right? I mean, it's a subject that hits all of us. And we all have these stories, and I think they're all very relatable. All of our stories are different, some overlap, but they're very different. But how it affects us is what changes our direction, potentially improves or emphasizes some area of our life that we realize now is more important than ever. So when you're not there at your office and your office pops into your mind, what's something you're really proud of when your office pops into your mind when you're not there?
My children, my family. My kids, again, like we created something from nothing. It was literally nothing. It was something more of a dream. And to see them, see their mom and dad now have a studio, they get so excited. My daughter goes to jujitsu and she goes and tells her friends like, "Oh, my mommy has a photography room and this and that." But when she's here and when he's here, there's a video on my TikTok. So if you haven't seen it, follow my TikTok. But there's a TikTok on there where we're actually setting up the room. They're my biggest helpers. They're around me all the time. So, but seeing them see that we can do it, that all it takes is dedication, persistence. It really just takes, you have to know your faith, where you have to know your value, how much you're worth. You have to know all these things about yourself because then you're going to want to create something more. And if you have all that doubt in your head, it's going to be hard to move forward. And, you know, it's one of those things where you can hear other people tell you, but in the end, it's your actions that speak louder than words. So
Nice. Hmm.
there's actually a moment um, that I really wanted to share, which I was really, really excited about, is, when my daughter comes in and someone comes into the studio, she's like, "Oh, hi, what would you like to buy today?" And I'm like, "It's not that kind of a studio." We just start laughing, but they get so excited, and it's exciting to see their faces and to see that they can do anything that they want in this world. And I think that's the whole point of this is really all for them.
Love that. All right, so I've got a real world impact question,
Mhm.
uh, just to describe the where you're at today. We hear plenty of success stories. Some of them we don't believe, but we hear plenty of success stories. And to me, success is just being able to check something off. It's saying I want this and then getting that. Success doesn't mean the destination. I'm now a millionaire or something. That's not what to me success is. It's all the little things along the way. The success is, I call them destinations when I'm teaching, but all these points in time that you've reached something that you've want. So we hear plenty of success stories, but balancing a business and a young family, especially when you're working with them at home, is harder than most people realize. Maybe not so much those who are doing it, but still harder than most people realize. How are you making that work?
You know, for me, it's learning time management. That's my biggest thing, and it's changed so much within months all the time. I have to make sure that usually when people are sleeping and my little ones are sleeping, I'm up editing. This past couple weeks, I've been really, really happy with, I've had 7 sessions this past 2 weeks, and that's been
Nice.
amazing. But with that comes with a heavy load of editing. So having to maintain that and to also be present as a mother is it's a lot of work for sure, but it's something I'm learning routines as things change, because my routine a month ago was completely different than what it is now. Now that I am getting busier, it's having to make more appointments and more calls and more emails and things like that. So again, it's just doing whatever works best for you and how you can thrive better and do more things with just taking that action. But for me, it was time management, because you have to include, when are you going to do the marketing? When are you going to uh, call this client to schedule them to come in for an appointment for a reveal? Things like that. So definitely having to stay persistent and really just staying focused. It's really hard. It's really easy to get off track for sure, especially with two little ones. It's hard, but with anyone that has a heavy schedule, even a person that might not have a young family now, but they're working full time and they want to pursue photography, they're scared to make the full leap, or they're scared, to maybe they're not, and maybe it's more of a fantasy, kind of like where I was at. I was just scrolling on Instagram and I was like, gosh, this would be such a cool job to have. You know, it was just perfect, but it was more of a fantasy at that time. But now it's reality.
Isn't that wild? And we're all there. Um, we all go through that anyway. And then something
Yes.
happens, something falls in place, or we plan it and we make it happen. But that's that thought, that idea, that excitement becomes our
Oh,
norm, our reality.
yes, and also another thing, procrastination. Procrastination gets everybody. And
Yeah.
there are times where I'm not even kidding. I'd be like, I'm gonna do a mini session for Christmas. I'm gonna do it. I'm busy with life and things, and then you don't make the post, and then you don't, and you're like, oh, it's only like a week away. I can't do it anymore. Just do it. I think we did mini sessions. I think it was a week and a half. I was like, I'm not going to get anybody. I ended up getting fully booked, which was to my surprise. And then on top of that, it turned out amazing. I had a Santa out there. The clients loved it. The kids loved it. And it was extra income that I wasn't expecting. And I just did it because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to post it and we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, then it's okay. Move on to the next project. It's one of those things where you have to keep going. You have to kind of keep getting creative. Also, knowing what things are kind of hitting, like how clients are seeing you. Are they seeing you more on Facebook? Are they seeing you more on TikTok? Are they seeing you more on Instagram? For me, it was videos. So kind of don't be afraid to try something, and if it doesn't work, try it a couple more times. Maybe it just needs some time to kick in. Don't be afraid to see that it's like, it's not working. Let me just move on to the next thing. And that was something that was also taught to me. And I love that idea because I tried a couple videos and I was like, what am I doing? And no, and then before I knew it, I was getting a notification that I've had over 200 people just look at my website. Well, that's clients, that's
Nice.
traffic. So it's one of those things, really getting involved with, again, it goes back to not being afraid to put yourself out there. Um, if you're a part of a small community, which is good, which is a lot of people, they're part of small communities. Um, for what helped me was getting a part of the business community. So I basically go to meetings here and I've interacted and met so many other business owners and they need photos. They have families, they want to take photos and you get to meet people that way and people that are in your area. So that's also another amazing way to meet people and to help you. Just before I came here, I went to Somerset Coffee House, that's right down the road. New
Mhm.
I haven't been there before, but I was able to talk with the business owner and leave some business cards behind. So again, never underestimate yourself and never underestimate someone in an opportunity where you can see it as like not only being friendly, but hey, this is what I do. Because word of mouth for photographers is usually the biggest way to get clients. For me, though, I don't know how
What
it is for everybody else.
right? I wanted to highlight a couple of comments. There's several, but I wanted to highlight two of them. Uh, Gabe said, I know how she felt getting started. And Amanda says, as someone that's just starting, I love your advice of not being afraid of failure. So she and I, and probably everybody appreciates that advice. Thanks. All right. So, for photographers who are dreaming about having their own studio one day, it's in their mind. Maybe they don't think it's real. What advice are you willing to share with them?
Don't be afraid, like we've talked about. Take the risks. Sometimes we might not understand why things happen the way they do, or we might not understand where like what the outcome is going to be. But I will say that staying persistent, keeping your community and your friends close, having a good support system, whether for some people it's your family, for some people it's your friends, it goes on, but having a really good support system for everybody or for you is just a really good way to keep you going. There is something I wanted to do. I know it might sound silly, but trust me, it helped me and I wanted to share it with you. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I will try. So this was taught to me. I learned this in church, and I just wanted to share with you because I was able to. If you could hear me. So let's say that this is your vision. Let's say that this is something that you know you want to go to, and it's all the way up here, and you don't want it to fall. Okay. So as you're walking through life, you're going to see that there's going to be distractions, there's going to be risks. Again, it's hard because I have a small studio, so I'm going back and forth, but the whole goal is to keep your eyes on the goal, to keep your eyes on your vision, and during that time hoping that nothing falls and fails. But during that time, I guess what I'm trying to say is that as I was looking at the book and hoping it didn't fall, I wasn't worried about can they see that I have plastic over here? Or maybe my toenails weren't painted? Or there's so many distractions. I've had people literally tell me, I didn't think you were smart. How are you building a business? How are you doing this? Don't listen to the distractions because you are the only person, you and your support system are the only people that can make that difference and can make that change. Because all you can do is just smile and keep going and keep your eye on that vision because that's really what it's all about. If you want a studio to call your own, and I'm still learning as I'm going, that I'm not I still call my mentors. I still call Josh and Jim Landers. I still call those people because I need help just like everybody else. So don't be afraid to take the risks. Don't be afraid to reach out to your community and don't be afraid to just really ignore and try your hardest to just keep your eye on the goal because people will always they're always going to doubt, not everybody, but there are people that will doubt and not believe in you and not maybe even believe in your vision. Maybe they believe in you, but maybe they don't see the vision. And it's okay if they don't, because it's really whatever you bring to the table. So as long as you're taking action and as long as you're applying the things that you're learning, you will see a difference. And I really, really want to just one real big thing, especially with how much I've learned from other photographers, my photography community, Jim Landers, Joshua and Marisol, Nate, David and Katie, and so Jose, so many people that have taught me so many things, from lighting, from how to do certain edits, even just a call and to be like, I need a vent. I need someone to hear me because I don't know what I'm doing sometimes and I'm overwhelmed. We all get there, but having that support system is amazing. And I am very, very happy that I have that community. And if you guys ever need any advice, I would be very happy to give any type of advice or experiences that I've had, but it's my story still being written. So it's really big of it's still being written.
Love that. We're we're pretty much out of time, but I've got one more question I really wanted to ask you. So I'm going
Yes.
to ask it, even though, as you look ahead in your business, in your life, what is it that you're most excited about?
I think I'm most excited about seeing what we did within the last year and what we are going to do, because we have so many bigger goals. And now it's getting ready to apply those goals. Um, Also just having my children at our feet, being able to see everything that we're doing. Those are probably like the most important thing. And I'm really excited to, if you do follow on media and you see some of my work, I'm excited all the sessions that we've just recently done. I'm excited to share what we're going to be creating for them. Um, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just do it.
Nice. Brianna, thank you so much for sharing your story, your journey, your heart with us today. I know your words have inspired a lot of photographers who are working towards their own dreams right now. And of course, these are varied. Some of them want to have an office or a studio, some of them don't, but still, your words have inspired them. So, Lens Legends, I hope you caught what Brianna's journey reminds us is success isn't about a perfect path. It's about taking the next right step, even when it feels scary, and building the life you want, one milestone at a time. Brianna, we are proud of you. We're cheering you on, and we can't wait to see the wonderful things that are ahead for you. I know I'm speaking for all of us Lens Legends, but I think I can at least get away with saying that. So thanks again for sharing your story, your experiences, your insights here on the Portrait Profit Show.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope that you guys got a lot from this show.
You rock. Lens Legends, wasn't that an inspiring conversation? Uh, Brianna's journey is a real world reminder that building your dream doesn't happen all at once. It happens with one decision, one action, one brave moment at a time. No matter where you are in your own photography business, just starting out, growing, preparing for whatever that next big step is, keep moving forward. The next milestone, it is so much closer than you think. If you would like to talk about you and what's going on with you, that's what I do. So my private coaching sessions can help you choose. In fact, I'll put that on the screen. My private coaching sessions can help you choose and implement the right tools for your business. And you've probably heard me say this before. If your goal is to go from, say, San Antonio, Texas to Houston, Texas, no matter how well you are driving on 35, Interstate 35, you'll never get to Houston. We have to know where we're going in order to know the right tools, the right path to use to get there. And too many of us wonderful, amazing, creative photographers are just out on the roads, pounding the pavement, giving our blood, sweat, and tears, and then wondering why we haven't reached where we want to go. This is how I help photographers. So take advantage of what you see on the screen right now. It's a free 15-minute private session. Um, you know that this show, the Portrait Profits show, happens every single Monday. And so in just a moment, I'm going to tell you what the upcoming shows are. But before I do, I want to tell you about my career photographer program. The career photographer program is my signature coaching program for portrait photographers who want to build a highly profitable, low volume business. And by default, it increases confidence. It increases your time with family. It increases your income. And for a little while, I'm giving viewers of the Portrait Profit Show a huge discount. In fact, it's 75% off. But you have to reach out to me to do that. And you're using that same address. You can tell me that you're interested. And if you're not, well, then don't. We'll talk about something else because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. All right. As you know, this show is every single week. And so I want to tell you what is coming up. In 1 week from today, and I need to put that up in a different way. There we go. This is we're all the way to the end of June already. So on June 30th at noon, the growth strategy that you've been ignoring. Every time someone likes, comments, or shares your post, they're doing more than engaging. They are opening a door and you're walking right past it. This episode of the Portrait Profit Show shares how a simple moment of acknowledgement can turn casual supporters into your silent sales force that grows your business for you. Put it on your calendar. It's every Monday at noon. So June 30th at noon, the growth strategy you've been ignoring. And then 1 week after that on July 7th, yep, already into July, this one's called Silent Posts, why your posts are ignored and what to do about it. If you feel like your posts are getting ignored or you're just not having as much interaction, it's not always your content that's the problem. It could be. But in this episode of the Portrait Profit Show, we're talking about how to fix what I call silent posts, those well-meaning social media posts that get little to no engagement. Whether you're posting about a limited time offer, a new studio space, mini sessions, or a personal project, this episode will make sure your post reaches your ideal clients. That's at noon on July 7th. And if you've been watching us for any period of time, you know that the second Monday of each month, we move the time to 6:30 in the evening because we have a panel discussion. So on July 14th at 6:30 in the evening, we're going to be talking about how I use social media. Now, that's not me. It's the three panelists that we'll have on. Photographers use social media in different ways and for different reasons. In this conversation, working pros walk through the approaches that align with their values, their clients, and the kind of business that they're building. You'll hear what they focus on, what they've changed over time, and how they've shaped social media into a tool that supports their work and does not waste their time. And then I'll tell you about just a couple more. So might as well finish out the month of July. On July 21st at noon, this one is, it's not the gear, it's you. If new equipment could guarantee growth, upgrades would guarantee success. But it doesn't, because clients don't book you because you bought that new camera. The good news, it's not your gear. The bad news is that the problem is probably you. The better news, though, is you can actually do something about that. We'll isolate what moves your business forward and identify what's just keeping you busy. Put it on your calendar. July 21st at noon. And then to round out the month of July, on July 28th at noon, even the dog looked at me funny. You know those moments where something just feels off? Sometimes you've felt it building for a while, other times it just pops up, and occasionally it feels like everybody knows it. And even the dog seems to notice, tilting its head, giving you some side eye. We're looking at the small or unexpected signals that tell us it's time to adjust, not necessarily because something's wrong, but because something's ready for your attention. Add these free lessons to your calendar now. Before you forget, I want to see you every single Monday at noon. And I make the price very affordable. So you don't have that as an excuse. Thank you, Lens Legends, for spending time with me today. And a huge thanks once again to Brianna Salinas for sharing her story, her strength, her spark. Her journey reminds us that when you stay committed to your vision, the doors you've been dreaming of have a way of opening. If Brianna's story gives you that extra push of motivation, do the photographer community a favor and share this episode. Someone needs to hear it. And don't miss next Monday's show. I've got something lined up that'll get you thinking differently about your marketing strategies. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, I'm Jim Landers, host of the Portrait Profit Show, where we spark passion and build thriving businesses. Until next week, Lens Legends, keep creating those powerful emotional connections that change lives, yours and your clients. I believe in you, and I look forward to watching you grow. Bye for now.